Hey, Darius, what's going on, brother?
Chilling.
Chilling? Yeah. What episode we got here today?
I don't know what
You don't
said.
know?
Is that
how
the
many
headphones
episodes?
cut out?
Oh,
No, the
did they cut out on you? So those are going to be a special headset today because we've got extra people in the studio today. We got a wide view going right now. We got camera 3 on for a second.
Yeah.
We got the Rainham first football family, I call you guys when anybody ever asks me. It's definitely the most interesting first family of football, the Gallagher family, that we have in the show today. But Darius, this is episode 6. This is, believe it or not, I always say it, I'm going to say it again, we got a lost episode. Nothing worked, right? I got to have a guest back in at some point in time who came in and spent 2 hours here and it resulted in nothing. But I think we feel better about today's episode that it might actually work out for us. Darius, what are you wearing today? Let's see a little visual of you because I know you love putting that camera on yourself. What do you got? What's the kicks?
Blue shirt, same pandas.
Come on, bro. You got
Always.
to tighten up over there. You know I'm going to ask next time you come in. So you better figure out somebody else's shoes when you got to go
Different
on.
sneakers next time.
Different sneakers next time?
Yeah.
No drip.
How's school going these days, Darius? How's it going?
It's good.
Yeah.
Especially because I haven't been there in months.
When do you go back?
I think the 3rd.
Yeah. What year are you going to be?
Sophomore.
Intern Darius, who took over for the once fired Griffin Perry. Lost episode Griffin Perry, as we just talked about. But, Blake, listen, if family ain't getting it done,
Hey, sometimes you got to cut them.
you got to cut him. He sits in that chair, the barber chair, sometimes to come in here and hang out once in a while. He feels like a lost puppy, but Darius is taking over in real fashion. But I thought today with football season coming up, it was only appropriate to have my favorite football family to come in here and talk shop for a while. Seeing that you guys have an incredible resume individually, all of y'all, but I just think knowing all like I do, it's always been about fun for you guys with football as well too. So that part I always appreciated, and quite frankly, me and you might go way back. We played against each other in high school, not really knowing each other. Our mothers know each other, so there's a lot of history here between us. And I wanted to start out by thanking you. The sign here says, "Hey, coach," and as far as I know, you're really the only coach sitting in this room for as much time and experience that you have. But
Nah, I don't.
no, listen,
You
man.
put your time in too.
Yeah, but my kids, I didn't coach them. You did. You know how we are about that, and you coached my boys, in my mind, perfectly.
I appreciate it.
It wasn't easy. It was fun. They got friendships. Brandon and my oldest son, Blake, Griffin, all you guys get along so well, and I think it's because of coaching that gets that done. There was a picture there. Can you bring that up on the coach's picture? It's probably the first slide. I remember. Yeah, move Bryce over a little bit because it's the picture I actually want to see. I don't know if you can drag and drop him or not, but this picture here is crazy. And I looked at it.
Oh yeah.
R.I.P. KJ up there, Goodrich, Reedy, Wayman's in the middle. But this is going back to Mites football my first year coaching. And I laughed just looking at some of that's going on. What do you remember about that season? You were the head coach.
I just remember.
And the season I'm talking about, by the way, is Rainham Giants. The best, it's not Pop Warner, but the best youth football league, I think, around still.
I agree. I mean, I think I was just shocked at how good that group was. And that was just an introduction to what they were going to go on to do. No one, we beat everybody by 3 touchdowns that year. We could have beat them by 10.
And we're going back to about 2006 Mites football, really.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. My fondest memory was West Bridgewater. We already knew that we were going to smoke them. You decided to come in a shock Mites football. 7 and 8-year-olds, we come out in a shotgun offense.
Blake's incredible. Blake shotgun snapping to Travis.
Blake over here playing center
back in the day.
7.
Yep.
He was 7.
7 years old on the 8 and 9-year-old team playing center, destroying people in there. Brandon at tailback, and you were pissed. I remember that because you're like, we're not running at first. We're throwing. I'm going to get a touchdown. Just give me the ball once.
Yep.
It was Travis Reed stepping back to throw.
Well, we were in the situation that year too that, you know, in order to let these guys play more than a quarter and a half, we were doing things to prolong the game. And it's just the way it was. You know, we would miss the 2-point conversion on purpose 3 times in a row so that we could leave them in and score one more touchdown just to let them at least get to halftime.
Yeah, because the unwritten rule really was 14
Yeah,
points. You got to take off the gas.
Yeah, you can't win by more than 21.
So that game in particular, they go shotgun, and to slow it down and get some incompletes. First pass, Travis, I forget, Noviello or
Might
somebody.
have been, yeah.
Touchdown, first play. We're like, that slowed it down. But, you know, I just want to go back and honestly thank you. You know, not enough people go back and thank the coaches, or that's the whole idea of why I'm doing this. I think there's too many great coaches out there that you don't have to be Joe Mazzulla or Bill Belichick to have made a real impact on people. And I truly believe that your impact on a lot of those guys in that 4-year range going through youth sports, especially football, was your knowledge and experience in the game, you know, much appreciated, man. Really much appreciated for it too. And I got a little helmet over here, some here too, with my Rainham Giant.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that can sit on the table today with my tassels.
That's right.
Yeah. So yeah, but that's what we're talking about right now. And what do you remember, Blake, about some of the Rainham Giants days? I mean, you've gone started from the bottom
Yeah.
to here, right?
Yeah, started playing center and nose tackle back in the day, as you guys can see up on that picture. We had some meat on the bones.
Oh yeah. You could throw up that one while we're looking at that picture. We're gonna bounce back and forth to him. I just threw. You know how many pictures I used to take. The things I remember. What was your thoughts about Rainham Giants football?
Honestly, just had an unbelievable time, right? We had a great group of coaches, a great group of kids, with being able to play with Brandon and all his buddies. Why
were you playing with them?
I didn't quite make weight for the play with kids my own age.
Yeah, I think you had to go up as well too, whether you weight or not. I think you were moving up in regards to that. So,
but no, in terms of joy of the game, I mean, you look back and those are some of the fondest memories that you have. You know, playing with all the kids in your hometown and having all the dads coach, and you look back and it's just it was a really special time, I think, and we had some really great teams. And just setting the foundation for what we'd all go on to kind of do in high school and then go on and play after college. Attribute a lot of the things that I was able to do to the foundation that was built when we were younger. And all the great coaching and, not only the game itself, but toughness, hard work, playing together.
You mean the Joe Arruda lap before practice?
Yeah.
Do you remember that one, Brandon?
The monster lap.
The monster lap, yeah.
The monster lap.
I still remember, it might have been the year that I wasn't playing with these guys, but I remember telling Coach Arruda that we weren't a track team, we were a football team. And then when I got up there and had to actually run it, he would always give me a hard time.
Oh, yeah.
But that's another one who was, unbelievable. He's the first one that kind of gave me a shot once I skinnied out a little bit to play fullback, after playing nose tackle and center all those years. So
listen, he loved fullbacks. You followed Isaiah Bell's hard head in the hole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I remember those days. He loved the fullback position.
Yeah. So
and then he would reward you at the end zone.
Yep.
Like if the tailback can't get in from +5,
pound it.
You're going to get the ball. So Brandon, you were mostly behind him a lot of times when you were running the ball back in the day. That had to be fun.
It was. He was probably the best player that I played with, I would say, even growing up. I mean, being able to run behind someone as, tenacious and strong as him as a kid against other kids. I mean, it was like kind of a cheat code.
Yeah.
And that, that cleared the way a lot of times for all the touchdowns and everything that, I got to do was attributed to him, that he never really got the credit for that most of the time when I got the credit, but I always appreciated it.
And sitting over here in simulcast land, very quiet. We did this on purpose, by the way, Bryce. You're not allowed to talk unless we say you can talk. That's how this goes right now. But you were always a couple years behind, even what's your name again? Blake at that point in time, right? But your teams were really good back in the day. What do you remember about Giants football? Coach McCusker was one of your guys as well too, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think some of my earliest memories from the Giants was just being the water boy for those teams you guys were talking about. Going down to Daytona, Brandon's 8th grade year. I think Blake was in 6th grade. And just being the water boy on the sidelines. And I remember even a couple times when I was too young, I think I was 6, my dad would have me throw on the pads and go practice with these guys. So just those memories and building that foundation was something that I think was huge. Just to attribute that to kind of the success all three of us had playing beyond high school and college definitely started in those Giants days.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you were the lanky one. You needed to grow into your body a little bit more. Blake was already he was built into his body from birth. Brandon was
I started at center though. I had shared those same memories as Blake. I
that's
had a good chunky phase.
Yeah, you had some chunky days too, but I don't know if you can see the slide.
That picture's phenomenal. Where'd you go back? That's at your old house.
This is at my house. Yeah, these are all my pictures.
I need you to send me that after.
What is it?
That is.
Did you see? Can you see this?
That's all Blake.
I can't see it.
Oh, you're gonna have to see this. This is all Blake's page.
Hey, I think I would have gave the Rizzler a run for his money back.
Yeah, you're in my front yard in that picture right there. Trust me, it was a great time. But you know what picture kills me when you see this is how unfair. What is that kid gonna do? Look at what's coming downhill. What is he going to do?
He's not in a hurry to get there.
He's not in a hurry to get there either. Oh my God, it was such a cheat code back then. But yeah, you did run the ball quite a bit. I know you started out in the younger days at center, but I remember you trucking along, eventually at tailback for a year too, right? It was like, okay, let's just see who can actually tackle him. And you actually had breakaway speed at some point in time at the end too. So sometimes you get caught it, but you still manage
that Red Sox picture.
You like that Red Sox? You can't. Can you see it now, Bryce?
Yeah, I can see it now.
You like that one, Bryce? Do you? I'm sure there'll be some on the next slide for you.
Yeah, go ahead. I don't. Again, go. You just flip it through. It doesn't matter which one comes up. They're all going to see him anyways. We can have some fun with this now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and actually, that was very nice of you, Brandon. I have a couple pictures of you when you're on your bike and stuff like that, causing trouble. But
look at that T-bar face mask back in the day.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah, and that game second to top left there, that was the game you got hurt, I think, right?
Yeah. That was one of my 3 carries in the first game.
In the first game. Yeah. At least I got one of the pictures before you went down, because the ones that are there at the end is when you finally came back second to last game, right? So yeah, that was a tough season for you.
That was.
We're gonna come back to that. Go to the next one. We'll see if we can't. We'll just have some fun looking through these, but yeah, I got some.
There he is.
I got some baby pictures in there.
There he is. Are those elbow pads?
Top right.
Why were you wearing
Look
elbow
at the size
pads?
of the helmet in the top right. I mean, and if you move them again, this is an interception.
Look at those hands in that.
Look at the Mets.
The 50.
Look at the Mets.
You might have dropped that one.
No,
I think he got it.
He
He did have an interception while he was wearing that number.
Look at that.
58, man. You got porked.
Yeah, but honestly, man, like,
hey.
it doesn't matter. This is not the amazing thing, though, for all you guys, you guys are all man strong. I don't know how to put it any other way. If y'all didn't lift weights, you're still the strongest guys in the room, which always was something that, for a skinny guy like myself who could run fast, kind of sucked when I had to run up and tackle you. There's an infamous picture. I don't have it, but me and you were ready to go on a collision course.
Yeah, we have it.
And I all I can say is there's no such thing as I stuck you to the ground. I might have tripped you up because you didn't score. That's about all I could say back in those days.
Though.
Yeah. And then there was a time when I was underthrown a pass and you got caught up, but we're running back full speed as I'm waiting for the ball to come into my hands. You just ruined me when I caught the ball in that game. Yeah, it was fun. But for you guys that don't know, back in the day when we were scouting, it was 3 things we had to do against BR. Stop Mike Gallagher, and stop Mike Gallagher. I swear to God, Coach Lane, God rest his soul, came to camp. He always had a board. 3 things on the board. Every game was 3 different things. The BR game was one thing three
Three
times.
Yep.
Stop Mike Gallagher, tackle Mike Gallagher, don't let Mike Gallagher disrupt the game. So you guys know what it was like for us to play against the Gallagher back in the day. It was about the same
Well,
thing.
you guys
too,
beat us senior year.
Yeah, that was the only year.
Yep.
Yeah, I will take that one to my grave.
That's the one that counts, though. Senior year is the one that counts.
Yeah, that's right.
But Brandon, it was like 42-0 my junior year. It was like bad. It was like you didn't expect it ever to win. And when we did that game, the crowd, it was Thanksgiving.
Yep.
The crowd rushed the field.
Yeah, I believe
That
it.
was the first time we ever beat BR in 9
Wow.
tries.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it wasn't a rivalry. It was an annual ass kicking that ended up, going
The
our
last
way,
game of the
so.
season.
Yeah, but you know what amazes me about you guys too is like, just developing into men, starting with boys with a game. And Bryce, you here just developing into an absolute beast. What was your moment, you know what I mean, where you kind of knew football was kind of your thing, Bryce? Because I know you're a multi-sport athlete, baseball. You were good at basketball. You were really good around here in basketball in your younger days. So what made you decide football was it?
Yeah, I think I was a little bit later of a bloomer than Blake and Brandon were. I think my dad thought I was going to be a basketball player up until my 8th grade year on the Giants when I kind of grew into my body and figured things out. So I would say that season on the Giants, honestly, was the first time I was like, all right, I'm not just a little brother anymore. I can kind of hold my own and do this myself too. So I think that was kind of a big coming out year for me to kind of just gain that confidence and understand that I can do the things that Blake and Brandon had been doing since the time they were on C team, that I might have been a little bit behind. But then that 8th grade season, I think kind of everything changed. And that was a turning point for me to realize maybe I can not just be a basketball player and turn into a football player. So
yeah, you definitely turned a corner, man. That's for sure. And my wife, Mary Beth, thinks the sun rises on. Every time you played a game at Northwestern, if I had forgot to turn the TV, she would come in the room and literally give me a freaking look like,
Well,
Bryce is on TV right now, and you think we're watching something else. I'm like,
well, I wasn't going to let that pass. There's a reason she was like that because, when Bryce was younger, I don't know, maybe 8, 9, 10, maybe not that old, but maybe 7, 8, and 9. He was. They all 3 of them developed at a different rate, and he was at that age was a little behind. And Mary Beth worked with him.
Mary Beth, my wife, is an occupational therapist, for those that don't know. So it wasn't, she worked with him she had him doing, I remember you doing wheelbarrow races in the front yard. And yeah, that was kind of crazy when that was going on. Yeah, she loves you to death too. But let me ask you one question before we get out of that, because I love the fact that you guys have played such high-level football. Who was the best player you played with at and you can't, if I ask this question, do not give me another Gallagher name, okay? Because it's just not going to happen.
Played with or played against?
No, I want to say with first. I mean, everybody can see against for the most part, but who was on that Northwestern team that you kind of, think didn't get enough credit, didn't get enough looks, or did, and, is playing at the next level because they were that good?
Yeah, I would say either Rashawn Slater or Greg Newsome, just kind of watching those guys on a day-to-day basis. I don't think I ever watched Greg Newsome lose a one-on-one rep in practice. Either it was a Thursday and we were just in helmets, or it was a Tuesday practice and it was full go. And then my freshman year being on scout team going up against Rashawn Slater in 2019, we had a bunch of DNs go down, so they put me at scout team defensive end, and I was trying to pass rush him, and it was just going against, it was insane. Just how strong he was. Once he got his hands on you, you weren't escaping him. And just kind of seeing those guys' approach to the day in, day out, there's no shockers there that those guys were both first-round draft picks. So I'd say definitely those 2 guys stick out to me.
No, that's cool. And Brandon, I'm going to shoot that same question at you because you went up to UNH and the same thing, right? So you're on the field 24/7. Who in your world?
I would say another local guy, Casey DeAndre, day in and day out was by far one of the best players that I played with up at UNH. The way he carried himself, the way he practiced. I mean, he was a true professional. I played with him 2 seasons, and then he coached after he got cut from the Ravens my senior year. And he was gifted.
What position? I don't know who it is.
He played corner.
He was a corner.
Yeah, he's from East
I was gonna
Bridgewater.
say-
East Bridgewater guy.
Yeah.
He's an East Bridgewater guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about now. Yeah, I remember that. That's pretty cool to hear about. I'm gonna skip you with that question right now.
You
You
can see me
understand?
with that one.
Mike, when you were playing back in the day, Barry Barrasso was up
Hands
there,
down.
hands down.
without a question.
Honestly, we both played against him.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah, hands down. Barry
Lightning in the
Barrasso,
bottle.
you know, our senior year. I'm gonna tell this story because I tell it a lot. Just my second year, I'm a first year starter at fullback. Barry comes in, he's starting at tailback. First game of the year, I go out, I don't block a soul. I mean, I probably graded out 20%. I don't block a soul. Barry wins the gold helmet, the New England gold helmet that week.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
he was.
What, you were getting in the hole too quick and just running by?
I was just not good at blocking at that point.
He played for what? Weymouth South or North?
Weymouth North.
No, North.
Yeah.
We lost 2 games my senior year. We lost to Barry Barrasso, like whatever. It was the only game that we kind of got really beat.
Yeah.
He was the man at that year as well, too.
That year, going back to you guys beating us on Thanksgiving, we had, we had a couple of banquets, postseason banquets, and, I was there. I think we had 2 different ones, but both of them, Barry wins. All the awards were at this banquet, and each time he goes up there, he would, at the end of his speech, he'd be like, and I'd like to thank Taunton for beating BR, so that we got a share of the OCL title. We ended up tying
You're
with
right.
Weymouth
You
North
guys
that
were
week.
undefeated at that point, too, right? Would you
Yeah.
have gone to the Super Bowl if you beat us that day, wouldn't you?
We had a tie also.
Did you have a
so
tie?
I don't know if we would have.
Back in the day, there was no playoffs, boys.
Yeah.
2 teams went, and they were picked almost randomly. If you were all
very random.
if there were 4 undefeated teams, we had no idea why
Yeah.
the 2 went to the Super
It's crazy.
Bowl. Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, hands down, he was the best player I played with or against
Really?
in college. I mean, he was so good.
Wow.
So good.
I can attest to that, but did he fill out? Like, what? He might have weighed 160 pounds in high school.
Yeah, he probably played at 180, maybe.
180 through college. That
But-
makes sense.
But you couldn't lay
No,
a hand on him.
No, too
Couldn't
fast.
lay a hand on him.
Yeah, and what is
He was
what
like
is
a water bug.
What is Barry, about 5'9"?
5'9".
Yeah,
Yeah.
5'8". He's not very tall.
Yeah.
Brandon, I'll tell you, he's got to be about. He's in your realm.
Yeah, I'm like 5'9".
Nine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Brandon's probably a little taller. But,
yeah, than Barry.
But yeah.
So let's go to Blake on this one then. I'll leave it with you in regards to this. Who's the best player you ever played with or against? You get both sides of the ball. And give me tell me, like, I want you to play against him though. So if they're the best player and you played against them, did he torch your ass or something at some play, or what made you think that they were the best player? Or is it somebody on your team, excluding the 2 from your brothers? So even if they are, sorry if you ever listen to this podcast, which they probably never will, but
I mean,
who would you have?
The easy answer, I won't take Bryce's, but Rashawn Slater. But I won't go into that.
Yeah.
And then when I was a freshman, running back was Justin Jackson, who was unbelievable. I think he finished his college career with 4,000 yards rushing, Northwestern's all-time leading rusher. Just talk about it, impossible to get a clean shot on. I mean, the lateral quickness, the breakaway speed. He was
Your
strong, he
pursuit,
was
your
smart.
pursuit though was amazing. Your pursuit was amazing. How you just read plays, and you're telling me he was that beyond.
He was making people look like all Big Ten linebackers. Like, there's clips of them getting their ankles broken,
Yeah,
and he was just on another level. Extremely gifted, extremely hard worker, super smart, high football IQ, could pass pro, would block in the run game too when he was asked to do it. And then thing that sticks out to me about him is I don't think he was so good he never had to play special teams, and he was at every special teams meeting.
wow. You played against your own teammate now, so let me ask you this. I'm gonna go to Brandon. What was the coolest place you played in college? What was the best place you liked going there? And for those who don't know, by the way, and maybe this, because I should do this because we're acting like everybody knows us.
Yeah.
Brandon played at UNH. Actually, Mike,
Correct.
played at UNH. You started all this. Played at BR.
Yep.
Went to UNH. You had to be there, what, 88 to 92, right? Just like me.
Yep.
You're at UNH. What years were you there, Brandon?
15 to 19.
Blake?
Uh,
Saint played at St. Seb's, though. Didn't go to BR.
mhm.
What year did you graduate St. Seb's?
2017.
Straight to Northwestern from there?
Yep, straight to Northwestern from there.
Yep. So you graduated Northwestern what year?
21.
Take an extra year there?
No, just 4.
Just 4.
Yep.
You, simulcast boy.
Graduated
Right.
from Sebs in
So you went to St.
2019.
Seb's too?
Yeah, I went straight to Northwestern. I did 5 years there, so I finished up in last season was the fall of 2023.
Very cool. Let me ask you this, Mike. This goes through me. Oh, this is something on my side. First of all, I'm mad at you as a parent. I'll never forgive you for
Or
the 3 state championships BR would have won,
yeah.
right? Tell me the truth, Brandon. Tell me it.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
What do you mean you don't know? You would have been the freaking fullback or a tailback. This one would have come in late to the party as well too and added to
would've
the
had one.
program. Definitely would have had one.
It's fair to say that
2. Your
my
junior year
senior year or junior year
and
with,
senior
with Blake would have been
at
would have been
BR.
a
If we didn't
really-
lose him to St. Seb's,
Mm-hmm.
it would have been 2, in my opinion. There was nobody better than him as a sophomore.
who won it those years? Your junior and senior year? Was it
Zavarian.
Varian?
Yeah, Severian,
Varian.
which also probably had 7 or 8 division. Well, for each class, probably had 7 kids go division.
But then the other part about that though too is if all the athletes still played, which you lost a lot of athletes from the football team. If the Noviello
Mhm.
played the right
Oh, yeah.
position and didn't have to go there. Sorry, Novi, I love you. I hope you listen, but I wish you weren't the quarterback. I wish you was still the tight end over there. You would have
Right.
you would have crushed it over there. If you didn't lose guys like that as well too, and they kind of just kept going through. If you know, you had Clement at quarterback, and then Novi still played and was at end. You have him coming in at fullback. You got, oh my God, you just got so much talent for a couple years in a row. But yeah, if we had that group at BR, I felt like, oh my God, it would have been crazy. But we also lost some other players to prep as well too. Who else didn't come through there? I know when we won baseball Division I title, Tyler Carey's year,
Yes.
beat BC High.
Yes.
The 3 and 4 hitter were from Bridgewater.
Yes.
What were their names?
Ryan Tufts and who was the other one?
It was a 3 and 4 hitter for BC High when we won the state championship. We're from BR
Yeah.
and the other team.
I know it was for sure Ryan Tufts.
Did they play
and
football, either one of them?
I don't think Ryan played
No.
football.
No, they didn't play either one of them.
No.
Yeah, because I didn't know all the Badgers, so to speak, that came out of there. But that would have been some.
There was plenty of kids from Bridgewater that never even made it to BR that I don't know off the top of my head, but that I'm sure my Bridgewater guys can attest to that would have made a significant difference in.
I think St. Seb's a great school and all that stuff too. Do you think that was like Mike, more of a direct line like to a Northwestern because of the, let's face it, it's an education school, Northwestern, Notre Dame. You got to have some grades to go play there. Is that
Yeah.
why you feel like that's a better fit, so to speak?
You know what? It was more so not so much a happy accident, but out of necessity. I thought it was, and it really had nothing to do with at that point the academic trail that the boys were going to go on. Blake was kind of getting some interest from the ISL schools when he was in the 7th grade, and as we alluded to earlier, he was always bigger, and I didn't really know much about the ISL schools, but Tina, my wife, and I, we talked, and I said, well, if he goes to one of those schools, he won't have to sit out football his 8th grade year. So basically, that's what kind of
that's true. I forgot about
started
that.
us down that path,
Yeah.
and
And trust me, whether weight or not, you outgrew youth football by your 8th grade year. Bro.
Yeah,
you
I think I was.
you would have killed people.
What was the weight limit? Was probably 160, and I think I was at least 205.
Yeah,
He
probably.
played varsity football in 8th grade.
Yeah. No, I mean, deservingly so. I mean, he's always was playing up like that. So, I forget that part of it.
Yeah,
in
so that
regards to
was
it.
kind of how it went, and
Yeah.
then,
But like I know the Bolins, right? So their youngest son, I forget his name, but they were like, we want him to go to St. Seb's because he needs to get his grade.
Right.
We want him to get that. Oh, here come the girls coming to say hello. Hi, hi, Coco. It's all right that they're here. It'll
Yeah.
be fine. But they wanted the education part of that as well too, which I understand with Tabor and
Right.
well, maybe not Tabor football, but St. Seb's if you want to do that as well too.
yeah,
Easy, girls. Easy. Hold on. Edit. There's gonna be some editing to this one. But anyways, but that's I don't blame you. You know what? I forgot about that aspect of
yeah.
it.
That's what initiated it,
Yeah.
and he went there, and
How did you feel about going there, Blake? I mean, you didn't have a bad youth experience with friends and everything
No,
from
no,
Rainham,
I
and
had-
all of a
yeah.
sudden, poof, that's all gone. How was that first day of school at St. Seb's, so to speak, and first football? And
I mean, I think I was excited. I mean, I definitely think it was a little bit obviously nerve-wracking. You go into a new school with new kids and just a little bit from that aspect of things. But it
would you have like a 30, 40-minute drive one way every day?
was like over an hour. in
You
the
doing
mornings
that
with
drive for the
traffic.
most
days?
Yeah, they were until we
So-
did our license. So shout out to them because
it was a solid hour and 15 to get there,
that was some serious commitment.
and then
Yeah.
28 minutes to get home because
Right.
you're coming, in the opposite direction
Yeah.
from traffic.
But no, I think I was excited, nervous.
That kind of help you though going to Northwestern? I mean, you kind of been through the ringer before type of thing, like adjusting quicker.
Yeah, definitely. And it was definitely a little bit of a learning curve in terms of what was expected of you from an academic standpoint. Like you were very much pushed, and you were expected to not only learn the material but do everything that you were
Understand the material too.
Yes.
How about you, Bryce? I mean, you had your neighbor Jack Prue right next door your whole life to kind of had best friends all over the place. You were playing on AAU teams and all that stuff too for basketball. Then you're off to St. Seb's. How'd that feel that first go around for you?
Yeah, I think obviously having Blake there was a huge help, kind of just because our whole high school was just a bunch of legacy kids. So it was probably 20 kids in my grade had older brothers that were older than Blake or in Blake's grade. So that kind of made things a little bit easier. But I remember that first fall, like I got there and I was still playing for the Giants. So I would go to school and then have to go home to go to Giants practice. And that first like couple months, I kind of in my head was like, what did I do? I was like, maybe
Not
this
even in your
wasn't
head.
the right.
You
You were
hated
saying
it
it out loud.
You were saying it out loud how much you hated it and wanted to go back to
Yeah,
the
I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I definitely said a couple times how I wanted to transfer back. But I think it was just really that kind of, I was only going to school and then I was going right home back to
Right.
with my Rainham friends and everything.
Your
And I
boys were
think kinda
tight. Your boys were tight.
Yeah.
You and your friends, man. Yeah.
Yeah, we were real close. But then kind of what all changed for me is once that basketball season came around and it wasn't just, all right, after the end of the school day, I was going home. And I was on a team with like the kids I was in class with and everything. I think that's kind of when it turned a corner and I was like, all right, maybe this isn't so bad. And then, I mean, I'm glad that I stayed and had the experience I did. But yeah, it was definitely those first couple months I was coming home every day. Like, what did I do?
Yeah. Darius, switch that picture up there. Let me see some other faces for a minute. I don't even know which one's up there. Yeah, we'll stay on this one for a while. Yeah, this is me just capturing some of you guys over at Northwestern. I try my best for UNH pictures, guys, but they don't put them out as easily as they put out these guys here too. I 100% mean this, Blake. I don't care what he says. You should have played baseball.
Yeah.
That
was my first love. That's what I wanted to
You
play.
were a force in baseball. And Brandon, you couldn't pitch to save your life. You did that. You did that a couple of times. So was it the Orioles?
Slow sports aren't my thing. I go fast.
Fast,
Everything I do is fast.
Exactly.
Fast sports.
And we're going to get to that in a second too. But you were playing baseball at a pretty high level. I mean,
Yeah.
what was your thought process there? How did you decide one or the other at that point? Because sometimes people get away with both.
Yeah, originally I wanted to try to do both.
Yeah.
But the older I got, then I realized that the reality of being a college football linebacker and a pitcher probably weren't gonna
Pitcher? You thought
coexist.
you would have pitched?
Oh yeah.
I thought you played third base and hit bombs.
Yeah, and then I realized the shoulder and the wear and tear, and then also the training aspect of it. Like if you wanted to go, I knew I wanted to go in and try to play as early as I could at Northwestern, and
So
baseball training.
you had a
football
good run at
training.
St. Seb's though, right?
Yeah, I played throughout my junior year. I just didn't play my senior year.
AAU too, like was it Coda or something like that?
Yeah, Nakona.
Nakona, yeah, that
Yep.
was what it was, yeah.
Had some really good teams. Growing up with that.
I was smarter than you, Mike. I said, there's no summer sports in my house. that baseball tears up a summer bat.
There were no days off in our house.
Yeah. Brandon, I did want to, note, you all know, it's no secret, Brandon's my favorite Gallagher. That's everybody's here. Saves you from ever having to worry about me going to your wedding or anything like that, if you know what I mean. But damn right I was at his wedding.
Yep.
You just got done too. Brandon, what is it about that motor in you? They've got 20-something pounds on you. You're the oldest brother. We all know when, especially you two, got mad at each other, I was always like, I take Brandon. I'll take Brandon 90% of the time. You know what I mean? Until Blake's really, really mad. But how did you find that motor inside of you?
Honestly, I credit a lot of it to my dad. I think from being 7 years old, starting football, he just said, you are the toughest one. Like there wasn't a question about that. And, it took a while to believe it. But I mean, when someone tells you every single day, like, nope, like you are the toughest one, like this is what you have to do, blah, 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 you really start to believe that. And then that just becomes who you are. And I've kind of carried that throughout my life, that there's nothing that I, like, not cocky, but there's nothing that I can't do if I want to do it.
Yeah.
And I think being, I wasn't the biggest or the strongest or the fastest on any team I've ever played on, but I can control being the toughest. And I think that's something that was instilled in me at 7 years old, and I've carried it to, 29.
Mike, where'd that come from? Ed?
Yeah, my dad was
Ed Gallagher.
he was one of the toughest guys that I knew growing up. I mean, just the example that he set, and I try to just instill that in my boys. And Brandon touched on it. He wasn't always, the biggest. And, he was fast, but he was probably not the fastest guy on the field every time. But I always told him, I said, just, go a million miles an hour. And
I remember our lacrosse games. Mike, remember when they were young? So all the boys played lacrosse, and Brandon was still playing football.
Yeah.
like center of the head in somebody's chest.
Yeah.
Absolutely rocking them on there. Remember we had this team, I don't know where we were, Natick or something. They were yelling at us because you kept lighting people up, and our whole team would just take after it. The whole team would just start playing like that. And when you did that on the football field, Brandon, no doubt you made my son tougher. You made everybody tougher around you because you weren't the biggest guy. You weren't the fastest guy. Everybody wanted you to play for them. Everyone wanted you to play for them. And you got a shit deal in high school when you got that first game. And Pete said you had a stinger when you broke your foot in 6 places. You know what I mean? Like that was, I remember, and I have a picture actually. I took it when you looked up at your dad. I said, that's not good.
Yep.
You're one of the toughest kids I know, but you look back at your dad and you were in pain and you were just like, wanted to start
still played another series though.
Well,
I tried to go in and then
4 more
went
carries.
back in.
He broke his leg and then had 3 or 4 more carries after that.
Yeah, to make sure it was broken.
To your point.
Yeah. I mean, we're not going to go here and say that while we're playing sports, we're always the most intelligent men in the world. But
not.
sometimes you just got to make sure it's really broken. I had Noah do that in a hockey
let me
game.
just confirm that.
Noah's wrist totally broken, and he wouldn't take his glove off in a hockey game. And he went out and played like 2 more shifts, and he came off the next shift. I'm like, take the glove off. His wrist was limp. I'm like, yeah, you're done. We're going, and that's part of adrenaline and everything too. I get it, but I applaud you in that aspect of your life, brother. That's the coolest part. I've always liked, and that's why you're my favorite Gallagher. Yes,
And we share a birthday.
well, that's the best birthday on that. The crazy.
And we
birthday.
share the favorite number.
Yeah, correct. The 24. See, my
Yep.
Jeff Gordon's up here. My Terry O'Reilly's over here. All the 24 boys hang out. So, and yeah, you guys, I need a bobblehead up here. You guys can collectively think of one or tell me. You don't have to buy it. Just text me. You know what I mean? Which one you want to put up here. So all these have been people who've been in here that I've asked for some of that stuff. So, and Doug Allis chose the guy from Breaking Bad. You didn't choose a basketball player. Choose whatever you want. You know what I mean? So it's
Nice.
put something up there for it. But hey, when we're talking about this upcoming season for the Patriots, let's just forget all the history stuff for a second. Bryce, what do you think what's the record for the Patriots this year? Please tell me you're a Patriots fan.
Yeah, no, I haven't converted to
Are we all still
being a
Patriots
Bears fan.
fans?
Yes,
Okay,
of course.
all right.
I give them what they play 17 now, 10-7. I think they get 10.
Ooh, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, 10-7.
You got 10-7 too? What do you got?
I think they only get about 8 wins.
So
I
you
think
got
10
eight and
yeah,
9 below
yeah,
500. That's
yeah.
Vegas though. Vegas
Yep.
is 8 and 9 right now.
Yeah, I'm right around there. I mean, I think if they win 9 games, that's a good year.
What's the turning point, Mike, for them to become 12 win team?
Well, I think just they need some playmakers.
What do you think of the running back?
Well, yeah. I mean, he's a stud as we saw opening kickoff in the preseason. He takes it all the way back. Yeah, but I mean, I think they need some guys to come out of that wide out room, other than Diggs and whatever Diggs has left in the tank at this point. And,
So-
like everyone's beating it to death, Drake May's got to take the second year
Leap.
leap.
I agree with that. I
Yeah.
don't think he was great last year when he
No.
played.
No.
So yeah, he's got to be better for sure.
Mhm.
But I
Who's-
think him being better only gets him 8 wins. I don't think it's just him. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
I agree with Vegas right now, like 8 and 9. But I think they have a chance to be a 10, 11, 12 team, win team. I think their defense is good. I think their cornerbacks are 2 of the best, and that opens up a lot of people to tackle when you can just
100%.
bring people down. But
Spillane's a good player in the middle.
like every other
Bobby
team,
Spillane.
it's the offensive line.
Savage.
Yeah.
Tim McGargle product out
Who
of
d-
Western Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
Who do you know who's playing right now that you consider either a friend or acquaintance? Still playing in the league right now. Anybody?
Rashawn and Greg are still playing.
Yeah.
Rashawn just signed the largest contract extension for a
Yeah.
left tackle in the NFL history, so that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
That is
Doing
real
all
cool.
right.
That boy's a beast.
Unfortunately, ended up tearing his patella tendon. So
Oh,
hopefully he's doing well and in good spirits.
well,
and we're
health to
thinking
you, my
about him.
friend.
Yep. Hope he gets back healthy. And then Cam Mitchell's on the Browns still, right, Bryce?
Yep.
There's a bunch of guys actually still playing.
Let me ask
we
you
got
this.
Joe Gaz is still.
Oh,
he just,
yeah,
he
yeah,
got
yeah.
signed by somebody.
Titans, yeah.
Titans. Yep.
Oh yeah, is he the ex-boy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's from Zavarian, defensive end.
Yep.
Yeah, that kid
Yep.
was a beast. Always a beast.
He was.
Yeah, he was
very
good from youth up. That one.
Mhm.
Yep.
Both of you guys played in some awesome stadiums. What was the coolest visiting stadium you played in, Bryce? What do you got?
I would have to go with Nebraska. They're
like,
like
You took yours.
I'm beating them. I'm beating them to every punch here. But
I keep asking him. Actually, I got unfortunately too.
well.
That he can't say.
I played at Penn State. One of those that picture right there actually is from that Penn State game, but it was pouring rain, so it wasn't like a full sellout crowd. But that was we actually almost beat them, and that was the year we only won 1 game. So that was a crazy game to be a part of. But there was no crazier feeling than Nebraska would have you standing in our tunnel and watching them. They would film their whole walkout from their locker room. It was probably like a minute and a half long, and you're just standing there in the stadium's just going absolutely berserk. And then for the fourth quarter, they would shut off the lights, and they would just start these red, like, beaming lights and blaring AC/DC, and the whole place would just go crazy. I
wild.
mean, I've never seen
Didn't you
anything
get an offer
like
from
it.
them, Nebraska?
That was my first offer.
Yeah. Did you get an offer from them too?
No, I didn't.
They gave up on the Gallaghers after the first one.
Bo Pelini was
Pelini.
gone.
Bo
by
Pelini.
then.
That was the Bo Pelini era.
Can you see the picture up here, Bryce? That's up there right now.
Which one?
The one that's on the screen that we're looking at. It's all the Northwestern pictures right now.
Yeah,
you
I can
that?
see it.
So what's the left-hand salute? I didn't realize
So
this.
that
Are you
was,
not entertained?
That was I picked off Sean Clifford, and I think it was like the second quarter of that game, and he was already on the hot seat. He was already on the hot seat with all the Penn State fans, so they started booing him. So that was like me waving the hand to keep the boos coming for him.
That's not the those two pictures are different pictures, They're not the
Oh,
same
really?
picture. Yeah, I could show you 4 pictures with you doing this same left-hand salute.
I don't
Did you
know.
did
I
you
mean, I
know
don't-
that? That's not the same picture
No.
as that one.
Oh, I thought it was the same.
I could show
one.
you 3 more that I was looking at. I'm like, wow, every time he makes a big play, he's got the left-hand salute.
You're
going.
saying-
I remember one of them. I think maybe you were pointing at your linebacker coach up in the box, maybe.
No, he was on the field then. I think honestly, if you watch the video, I think I was blowing a kiss to the crowd.
Okay. Okay, then. All right.
I think
All right.
If you play it back.
Darius, yeah, that's how you get it going right there. Get in front of what, 50, 60, 100,000 people and stop blowing them kisses. Yeah. That's how there ends up being some of those fights in the hallway that you've seen last year that they had to get done. I think that, going back to the Patriots for a second, I laugh because I sit in here and had different interviews, and I've always said I should talk pro sports with the guys who really know sports, just from the standpoint of having some fun and doing all this as well too. Who's winning the Super Bowl this year, Brandon?
Wow.
What do you got? 5, 4, 3,
Buffalo.
2.
Buffalo, go Bills.
Oh, Mike, 2,
I
1.
I like that, Buffalo.
Buffalo.
They do.
I spent some time up in Buffalo.
Don't tell me
I gotta
Mike's a
take the
Buffalo
Bills
guy.
too. I gotta take the
Buffalo
Bills
guy.
too.
He's a Bills fan.
Wow.
It's hard not to root
What
for
do you
Josh
got up
Allen.
there, Bryce? What do you got?
What'd you just say, Bryce?
I'm gonna go the Washington Commanders.
Oh.
Oh, that's a
Bad
good
take.
So can I tell you that I think that that's one team that might not make the playoffs?
Really?
I'm on that.
Yeah.
Their schedule
Dan
last year,
Quinn.
did you see the
Easiest
tweet
schedule
of
last
the quarterbacks
year.
that they beat? They were all backups.
And now this year is like the hardest schedule. They could go
Jaden
right back
Daniels
to a
got that
500
dog in
team.
him.
Yeah, I'm gonna, I'm putting it out there with the Ravens this year. I hate to say it. I think this could be the year that
That's
they
a
get
good
over
take.
some of and again, somebody gets injured,
Yeah,
all your
Right.
Josh Allen goes down, you guys are switching
it's
your
over.
mind week
Yeah.
2. So
100%.
I think I'm the same way with Lamar Jackson, but I think the Ravens could have a run at it this year. So going back to a little bit of whatever we want to shoot the crap about, I think it's funny that you guys have all played other sports. Mike, what's your handicap?
I'm about a 6, maybe a little under.
You and you up there, Bryce? I know you're probably second in the handicap zone. What's your handicap?
I think I'm like an 11.8 right now.
You have one?
I am handicapped. I don't have.
I know you started to play. Gavin told me you started to play. You
Brandon's
I've been
gotten
playing
pretty
better.
good.
I had a couple bad summers.
Yeah.
Fix the grip though. We're back.
yeah. You gonna get a gin as they call it?
Oh, I have a handicap.
What is it?
Like a 20.
That's not bad. I like it. No, that's not bad. What's the matter with you? You don't ever hit the sticks? It's a perfect foursome.
Okay, hold on. I got a good story about Blake. This is how Blake operates. It's his birthday this year. I text him, me and Justice, and I forget who the fourth was.
When's your birthday? June?
First.
June, right? Yeah.
So I said, hey, why don't you come golfing? It's your birthday. He's like, yeah, okay, cool. So we golf. He's playing really well. He's on his phone, it's working. I'm like, dude, what? Just put your phone down. It's your birthday. Let's golf. So we play. It's par 5. He puts it on in 2, hits the putt for an eagle, and then says, boys, I got to go to work. Walks off on his birthday.
I forgot about
Eagles,
that, actually.
leaves and goes to work.
What hole was that? What hole?
Like hole 8. I didn't even make it 9 holes.
Yeah, we were having a good day. We were
Yeah.
having a good day that day.
You get a high five on that one, brother.
What happened last year on the golf course?
I don't remember. On my birthday?
No, not on your birthday. Just for someone who doesn't really play all that much.
Not a hole
I
one.
got a hole in one.
Oh, Jesus
I got a hole in one.
Christ, bro.
And it was like so funny because I don't know, it was like a 185-yard par 3, and I grabbed like something stupid, like a 4-iron or a 5-iron, and I looked back at the two guys I'm playing with, and we were joking about like old man swings the whole time. And go, I'm just gonna old man swing it. So I just went and hit it.
3/4 swing type of thing.
And it went in the hole.
Oh,
I was
man, you had a hole in one all the years you played.
We went nuts. But it's funny because I'm probably the worst golfer here, and I got a hole.
I do have a hole in one.
That's usually how it happens.
And I don't think I've sniffed like a 1 foot or 2 foot since, if you know what I mean.
I've scared it a bunch,
Yeah.
within a foot or within 6
Over at
inches.
LeBaron.
Yeah, actually, I
Not that 1, 2, 3, 4th hole.
yeah,
That elevated one.
yeah.
That's
I
a
put
tough
it, I
hole.
put it within 6 inches, and then
Ooh.
George says to me, he goes, "You got hole-in-one insurance?" I text the pro right down. I'm like, "Hey, make sure I have hole-in-one insurance."
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's pretty good. Kind of the preempt of that is playing a second sport. Brandon, say you have kids someday. What's your philosophy playing multiple sports?
Every
playing
single sport.
You like playing every single sport?
Every
Play
sport.
the season, so to speak?
Yep, until probably 7th or 8th grade. And then you can maybe narrow it down to, 2 sports. But I think 100% that kids should play almost every sport.
Now, it's tough for kids these days. They're getting pushed into year round. You know what I mean? Like
100%.
when do you feel like you got to kind of figure it out to some degree?
I think 7th or 8th grade. I think that's when you can, as a kid, you're starting to develop, and you can really make that choice of what you want to play.
Yep.
But I mean,
to play at a high level too. I mean, some kids can just play 3 sports, and
100%. And I think it varies on situation too. If your kid is 6'4" in the 5th grade, like he's gonna play basketball,
or football.
Exactly. But I think that it makes you so well rounded as an athlete to all the different sports that it's very important to play them all.
Yeah, Blake, you played at a high level for both baseball and football right through high school.
Yeah.
How did you manage your time doing all that?
I mean, I think there's trade-offs. Like when I was playing baseball in the spring, I still wanted to work out for football. So it's like,
you can kind of do that with baseball.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that, but if I wanted to go play baseball at a high level, like I would have needed to work on like shoulder flexibility and stuff. Instead, I was bench pressing. So it's like, are you really being the best at that? Like that, I'm talking like sophomore, junior, senior year of high school.
Right.
At that time, are you really maximizing yourself in baseball when you're doing all these other things?
Yeah.
But I think, there's too much specialization now from a young age. I mean, like Brandon just said, I mean, you get so much from playing different sports, and like football is different from basketball. Baseball is what it is. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, but like,
true.
But like lacrosse, basketball, I mean, you see a college coach, college coaches drool over guys that they go see on the basketball
Listen,
court.
Gavin got recruited to the 2 places that really wanted him because he played football and lacrosse.
Yeah.
Because they knew he just had a different level of toughness.
Yeah.
That's what it came down to. And they asked for his football film. His biggest scholarship came from Queen's University, money-wise, and it was like 3/4. And it was strictly because he played football. The guy's like, you're a football safety? You play safety, like you run up and hit people, and can I see the film? And he watched his film, and I'm like, he's like, all right, you can come play here. Because the next level is tough. Every level you play gets tougher and tougher. How about you over there, Mr. Basketball Player? Because I got to figure that was almost your first love, right?
Yeah, no, it definitely was. And kind of like what Blake was saying, every football coach that was recruiting me was at a basketball practice at some point. In high school, they would come and they would watch practice, or our football coaches that were recruiting us would come to games and watch them, because just like how you were saying about Gavin, they want to see that toughness from a lacrosse player on the football field. These coaches want to see that athleticism from football players on the basketball court. Can you move your feet? Can you react quick? And kind of just how you compare in a different setting. So that was definitely huge, and something that, I mean, I would definitely have my kids, like Brandon and Blake were saying, play everything up until I think that 7th grade, 8th grade point is kind of when you should probably start narrowing it down to 2 at least. But I mean, I played basketball all throughout high school up until my senior year, and I had some of the most
Let me tell you, that's kudos to you, because football to basketball is tough. because there's really no
Yeah.
position other than wide receiver that you're going to get in any kind of basketball shape.
Mhm.
All
Oh,
the
for
football,
sure. No, it was brutal.
for all the, sports I played, I didn't play high school basketball, but I've been coaching it for 10 years. Watching the football players come back, I always start laughing. It's like hockey, because I played football. The hockey is the same thing. It's the same kind of wind that you need to
Yeah.
play hockey.
Yeah.
And you just die.
Oh, you
Like,
die.
You just,
Yeah,
the
that's a
running
different-
is such a
different type of shape.
different shape that it is. But, at least with baseball, you get a season off to get ready for the next season, so to speak. It's not off, but you're not
Yeah.
immediately after Thanksgiving going to a practice where somebody's telling you, we're running sprints till you throw up, and you just finished a football game on Thanksgiving Day. It's rough going from that. Like, we got Jack Lambert this year as a quarterback for BR, and he'll be close to a starting five, if not a starting five guy for us.
Yeah.
He's in the gym running he's the quarterback of the team for the last year and this year, but he
Yeah.
gets in the gym after and does wind sprints because he knows
Just to get ready.
He just,
Yeah.
it's not going to hurt him for football. He doesn't go in his shoe
Yeah.
or bang or going to twist an ankle or something, but he'll do wind sprints just to try to stay up with it
Yeah,
because
good for him.
he gets gassed. But
Definitely good for him. as well.
yeah. Mike, let me ask you this, because one thing I didn't do when my kids were kind of, and I kind of went back and forth on it, is you sent the kids, some of them, I don't know who went to where or what was it in Easton? There was a training facility.
Yeah, there was they started out over at Evolution.
Evolution,
was-
that was the name of it. Yeah.
Right on
138.
yeah.
Yeah.
Down there, and they all went at
Okay.
one point, and then we Blake was probably in 7th grade. We got involved in the FBU football, and there was a guy, PJ Vanderwright, and he owned an Athletic Republic over in Norwood. So then the boys all went over there, and and then by the time they were in high school and above, they went to place over in Foxborough.
EPS.
EPS.
No,
Yeah.
I'm getting old. Every time I want to think of something.
No. Trust me.
Yeah,
My
but
wife thinks I have CTE, so yeah, we're in the same boat, brother. It's all right.
Yeah, so they went.
So
over
you're
there.
spending money. You
Yeah.
gotta come out of pocket. None of
Right.
these places are free, right?
Mhm.
And the thought process is that they have the wherewithal to get them to another level.
Well, I think
And you boys better be ready, because I'm going to ask what that next level was when you were there. So that's the next question coming.
to get back to what you were talking about, when do you start specializing?
Mhm.
I don't know. Without, sounding whatever, I kind of knew, like, I kind of thought.
Wait a second. Let me interrupt you. Don't UNH Northwestern. Okay. It was you did some things right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you don't
So,
have
I
to
mean-
say, and you had to come out of pocket for some of that. But
Right.
somebody listening to this, because believe it or not, there's like 1,000 views on this every time it happens. They're trying to figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
Was it worth it?
Well, I think if you're honest with yourself as to where your child is at, like, then yeah, if you can honestly look at it, because I mean, everybody thinks, like when we were growing up, like people from around here didn't get athletic scholarships,
They didn't.
and
You did.
I was fortunate enough to get one, and so I would see like where they were amongst their peers, and I thought, okay, well, it's probably worth the investment to just see if we can keep taking the next step with them. And I joke with Tina, because she says, well, our whole life was sports and football. I'm like, well, they did okay, so
Yeah,
they
yeah.
must have done something right.
So I'll go to the oldest on this. Brandon, when you're going to these trainings, was it worth it for you? Was this extra worth it
Yes.
for you?
100%.
Yep.
There's no doubt in my mind that had I not trained as hard as I did throughout high school at this specialized training, I wouldn't have made it to UNH. There's hands down. And we were very lucky that we were in a situation where, our parents could afford it and were able to find, a place. I think there's plenty of people out there nowadays that just collect money from kids that aren't even qualified to to train
So
them.
do your homework like everything
Right.
else in life.
100%. But I think that that paid. I mean, Brian McDonough is the head strength and conditioning coach of the New England Patriots right now, and we worked with him every day for 8 years.
Wow.
Savage.
So
Absolute
so
savage.
was
I
it
mean,
was it Blake?
that's-
Go ahead, Blake.
And talk about a guy like
Say his name again. I'm not familiar.
Brian McDonough. He
Brian
owns
McDonough.
he owns EPS, in
EPS. Oh,
Foxborough.
I know EPS, so that's the owner of
Over
EPS.
at the
Okay.
Foxborough ice skating.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. He was like our dad being in the gym, like everything that was being instilled at us in home, like grit, toughness, hard work, all that stuff. We got the same thing when we went to the gym. So I mean, not only from like power, explosive, speed, strength, not only was it that, but it was like, no, you're gonna come in here, you're gonna work, and you're gonna be tough. And we met some great people doing it. I still have, lifelong friends that
That's
I've
awesome.
met, from working out.
And you're also
at
training with
EPS. Yeah.
you're training with other kids that are
In the same mindset.
In the same
in the
mindset.
same mindset and also that are going the same
Same
places
goals.
as you. You
Yeah.
know,
Right.
there's kids that we played with that played at from,
Yeah. so-
Dartmouth to Princeton
Yeah.
to all these other schools, big time Division I college football schools. And, you're training with these kids looking like, okay, like this kid's going to Division I. Like, how do I stack up
Right.
against him
Yeah,
every
that's a good
single
point.
day?
and
So-
we were constantly
Well,
competing. Like
Constantly.
everything that we did was a competition.
competition.
Like every conditioning was
So
like
it's like, and from what I'm hearing is like everything else in life, it's you could pick a stock, you're going to invest your money. You better do a little research into who you're putting your money into because
Right.
there are many
Right.
people out there aren't getting the same results, right?
Definitely not.
So really, it's just coming down to figuring out who is the specialist in your particular sport, and then
Right.
going after that. You, my friend Bryce, you probably had the most to gain going to this, right? Because like we mentioned, you might have been a little bit working your way into your body when you were younger. How did you do going through all this process with it?
Yeah, I think just going to EPS and seeing Blake and Brandon's work ethic there, along with the other kids we were working out with, was kind of definitely my first couple months there was an eye opener. Like, all right, this is what it takes to reach this level and get this attention that both Blake and Brandon were getting in high school. So just going there and kind of developing and strength was something I definitely had to work on. I definitely wasn't as naturally strong as these two guys were, just being a little taller and more lanky. But definitely going there and just working on all that stuff was a huge help.
Who do you remember? Anybody you were there with? Any consistent bodies in there that ended up, going to wherever?
We had a bunch of kids from my high school that went D1 for lacrosse. The Frizzoli brothers, one started at Harvard and then transferred to Duke, and Will, who's my age, went to Duke. Just seeing even like guys like that were playing different sports, just attacking it the same way. And then I had a couple buddies who played Division I hockey, some of them who even got drafted in the NHL draft. So just kind of, I feel like being in all those different cultures too, and just seeing the different sports and but it was all the same mindset at the end of the day. I mean, we were in there with NHL players. There were some Patriots guys that'd be in there. My last like spring working out there before I went to Northwestern, I spent a whole week. It was just me, Brian, and Julian Edelman that I got to spend the week with and kind of just talk to him, and that was a huge help to kind of just going into college, get to talk to a guy who had just won the Super Bowl MVP. So that
Right.
was a great experience.
That's awesome. You just get to hang, and that guy's a beast too when he works out. That's what I
Yeah.
understand. Is that true? Did he push you?
Oh,
And you guys push each
for
other?
sure.
Who was
Yeah,
that with?
no,
When
definitely.
your wedding, we went to the port after, where we went to after.
Charlie
Who
Coyle.
walked in and
Charlie Coyle, yeah.
Charlie Quill? Who was you or him?
We all kind of knew him from EPS.
That was
Yeah.
from EPS, right?
Yeah.
When we would work out in the summers, our group was at 8 o'clock and the NHL guys was at 10. So when we would be finishing up our workouts, everyone from Brian Boyle to Charlie Coyle to
Wow.
Yeah, Noah Hannafin, Jack Eichel was there for a little while.
Wow.
yeah, like
You know what's funny about that though is like Mary's drooling. Mary's you all know Mary. My wife is a huge Bruins fan. She's drooling Charlie Quill. I think it was you, Bryce. And
Yeah, he walked up to me.
we're sitting there talking. He's getting closer and closer, Charlie, and Mary's melting, like grabbing my arm and tighter and tighter and tighter. And he walks over and he goes, "Hey, Bryce, how you doing?" Well, Mary almost lost her, shit right there. And I started laughing. Brad's like, oh, hey, what's up, Charlie? How you doing? I'm like, of course he's a normal guy. I mean, we
Yeah.
all know that.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, he's a great guy.
but for the fandom of, a Bruins fan like Mary Beth, it's like
Definitely.
Charlie Coyle's just sitting here talking to us, kind of funny. And
Another local guy, too. I mean, he's Weymouth.
Yeah, Weymouth guy. Yeah.
You know that same bar Peyton Pritchard was chilling?
Yeah.
The port there in Harwich Port.
Harwich.
Yeah, that's
No
a
free
pretty
shout
cool
outs to
spot.
the
Best spot on
Yeah.
the Cape. Wow.
Yeah, they get their free shout out. So I want to go switch that slide up. This reminds me of something that football is one thing different than other sports. Yeah, stay right there. So, Brandon, you even said, where's the picture that was your last run? The almost top left, right?
Yes.
So you get injured on that play, and that's what I want to talk about right now. Different than any other sport is injuries and how they affect you, right? So I know all you guys have had them. Mike, I'll start with you. What was your worst injury playing football, you think?
I was very fortunate. I, towards the end of my junior year, I got rolled up on and, ended up partially tearing my Achilles. But, it wasn't.
Your junior year?
Yeah.
That was my senior year.
No, I'm talking in college.
Me
sorry.
too.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
I know. Yeah.
That's painful.
Oh, yeah.
I felt like that
Yeah,
was one of the
and
most painful things I've
Yeah,
been
it
through.
was. Like,
Partial tear my Achilles.
I thought my foot was going to be turned the other way when I looked at it.
Yeah, that was the first one where literally not crying because boo-hoo, but I literally had tears in my eyes because I couldn't just was just
I know.
this wouldn't
Yeah.
stop. But I know you, man, that the disappointment of the injury, maybe more so than the pain of the injury, what did that do to your mindset? You had a incredible junior year. You're lined up for an incredible senior year. You got shafted, my friend. You would have had offers, in my opinion. So you get injured your second game. The first game, sorry. Almost the third play or fourth play.
Yes.
The injury happens.
Yep.
What happened to you?
I broke my left tibia.
And then the recovery is how long?
The recovery was, they said 6 to 8 weeks, which would put us at the first playoff game of the season if everything went perfect.
What was your mindset like? Obviously the first days it happens. When it happens, when you're done, what's that mind feel like for you?
So, we finished the game, we ended up losing, and then we had to go to the hospital. And at that point, you're hoping, okay, maybe it's, just a small fracture, rest it. It can't do any worse. And then the doctor came in and said, you broke your tibia. You're going to have to be in a cast for 6 to 8 weeks. And that hurt. It did. But like anything, my dad looked at me. He was like, this isn't going to define who you are. When, you have 5 minutes to dwell on it. And then business as usual, honestly. What do we have to do to get back on the field in the shortest amount of time possible? And, I was very lucky that my head coach, Dan Buron, I went to him on that Monday and I said, look, I'm not going to be around. And I was a captain, so that was very difficult for me to have to tell him. But I said, for me to be back on this field in 6 weeks, which would be the first playoff game, I'm not going to be at practice for, I was there on Fridays.
There's still that stereotype. You got to be there.
100% be there and be with the team,
Yeah.
but that wasn't going to benefit me getting back on the field, just sitting watching practice every day. Not to mention it would have been torture.
Yeah.
So every day I'd get out of school at 2:00. I'd drive to EPS and we would do every upper body, keep my left leg strong, every type of lift
didn't
that
know
we
that.
could do.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then on Fridays we'd have the walkthrough and I'd be there on Fridays. Obviously I'd be at the games and everything else, but and that was hard to tell him that I'm not going to be here.
You didn't have an injury like that before he had his, right?
No.
So how
No, I
did
was pretty
you
lucky.
feel seeing him go through that?
It was hard, man. I mean, it was senior year, right?
Yep.
I mean, to see somebody get robbed of their senior year, especially somebody who had a great high school career and, you wanted to watch him crush it his senior year. And, it just felt unfair, to see somebody get hurt like that. And
It is unfair.
unfair.
God works in funny ways,
Yeah,
though.
it's
It really
unfair.
does,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have ended up going to UNH. URI was pretty hot to offer me, and they wanted to see the first game, and I had, I think, 76 yards on 3 carries in the first quarter. And so, I mean, you would think that they would offer at some point, which would lead to a
Yeah.
couple more, and then I would have never got to play,
Yeah.
where my dad played, and
It was an interesting path. You know what I
definitely.
mean? How about you? You had some serious injuries going on, but it kind of got going at the college level?
Yeah, I had a lot of bumps and bruises. had had I don't know, the big one that comes to mind. I had hip surgery after my sophomore year. My labrum.
At Northwestern,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah. Had a torn labrum, and they went in and fixed that up, like FAI, femoral acetabular impingement or whatever. So they shaved
Can you
off.
slow down with that? I'm not a doctor. Say that again.
It's called femoral acetabular impingement. So there's like bony growth on your pelvis and
Yeah.
like bony growth on your femoral head,
Yeah.
and it just comes together and tears up your labrum. So they shaved that stuff down and fixed the labrum up, and then
How long is the recovery?
long, man. It was 6 to 8 months.
Oof.
And then when I was coming back from it, I tore my hamstring.
So you did it right after the season?
I had it done. I think we ended the season.
So you were playing with it?
Yeah.
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 How'd that feel?
Not great.
No, but was it like,
Not
it's
hard.
not a broken bone, but it's what it is.
No, it's
constant.
it's just nagging and aching and constantly catching as
Do
you
you-
flex in your
Do you
leg.
find that that's just, it is what it is?
Yeah,
I
it was
mean-
one of those things. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm just trying not to let it get any worse. And at that point, I was like weighing the pros and cons of surgery.
Yeah.
So
What were any other bangs, dings, breaks, craziness, fingers, all that fun stuff?
high ankle sprains, hamstrings,
Pulling
just
the
all that
hamstring
stuff. Head.
Tore his
Injuries.
hamstring, what, a week before the first game?
No.
That was the same year I was was coming off the
Same leg,
labrum,
same area.
opposite leg. Was doing like build up sprints when I was home for the summer and tore my hamstring, and then missed the entire fall camp and got ready to go like a week before the first game, and then somehow miraculously made it through the whole season.
Wow. How about you
Fat,
up there?
not a shape.
How about you, Bryce? What happened in you all get banged up going to play that high level ball. So
Bryce has a list.
what's your
Yeah, I
list?
got
Oh
a-
yeah,
I got
yeah,
a
yeah.
rap
Bryce
sheet.
actually has a good list.
My junior year of high school, I had just gotten that summer, got my first couple offers, was in talks with schools and everything, and then the first scrimmage of our year, went to go like shut off a block and felt like a pop in my foot. And I was like, that didn't feel right. So I hobbled off the field. We ended up going to the hospital, and they say I like fractured my 5th metatarsal, but it's only like 6 to 8 weeks. So then someone recommended we go see like an actual foot specialist. So me and my dad went into Boston and met with this guy, because at that point I was like, all right, I can be back by week 5 or whatever if it's only 6 weeks in a walking boot and come back. And we went and met with this guy, and he told us that the area that the break's in doesn't get like a lot of blood flow. So they would have to put a screw in it, and that was going to be pretty much like a 4 or 5 month recovery.
Oof.
So that was devastating. I was kind of in the same situation as Brandon, but luckily it was my junior year and not my senior year. But kind of just like he was talking about, couldn't be at practice, couldn't do all that. And I was seen as one of the leaders on the team. So that was obviously tough to do. And then college was when the crazy one kind of, I had have neck surgery after my
I remember
junior
this one.
season.
Yeah.
All of 2022, I was playing. I think in those pictures you could see I had the big neck roll on.
Yeah.
Because every time I would get hit,
Just
my
that picture
head would
back to Northwestern, Darius. Yeah. Go ahead. Say it again. Your head would snap back. Keep switching.
every
it.
time
There
I
you
would
go.
get hit, and my head would
Go
you
back.
can't really see it in those, but
Yeah.
every
Keep it
time I
there.
get hit, my whole right arm would go just completely numb. I had like nerve damage in my like right pec. When I'd bench press, like one arm would go up, the other one wouldn't. So played the whole season on that. And then at the end of the 2022 season, I had 2 neurosurgeons go in there and clean up the bone spur that was kind of in my neck and open up some space for my nerves to flow through. So that was a fun one.
Oh my God.
Just got a gnarly scar to prove it too.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Any other?
It looks like
other-
someone
Yeah,
hit
they
a
let-
9-iron out of the back of my
No,
neck.
the docs got tired. They let the resident stitch him up.
So how did you like any other nicks, dings, or breaks that you've had over the years, or just
I tore a small tendon in my ankle. I missed a good amount of spring practice from that. I was in a walking boot and got like PRP injections. Other than that, that was only the real procedures. But yeah, there was some games where I woke up, my thigh bruises, stuff like that. Just all the normal stuff you go through playing
So let me ask you,
football.
let me ask you guys this, because football can center around the hot topic of concussions. Anybody want to start? Anybody want to jump in? Anyone want to talk about
Well,
it? What
I
do you
mean,
have?
Well, I mean, you and I know when we played, no one got a concussion. So I mean, I can say officially I've never had a concussion, but
Me too.
I can also say that by the second week of camp, I played the entire season with a headache. So
Yeah.
they're a little, once these guys all got to even high school, they had to take the baseline.
The baseline
to do the
test.
baselines in high school, and then if you got dinged, then you had to do it. And but I guess there's
Listen, Mike, I sophomore year, high school, Paul Wiles, senior, pulling tackle. My foot gets, I can usually miss those guys. My foot gets stuck. I wake up in the hospital. I was at practice the next day.
Yeah.
College, returning punts. We're up 24-0. Ball's way up in the air. Fair catch. Kid drills me. I'm looking up in the air.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Right. So he just took a cheap shot.
Yeah.
On film, they show me walking to the other sideline.
Mhm.
They show their assistant coach walk me to my sideline. I don't remember Saturday night, Sunday. I remember Monday. I was at practice Monday. They just didn't have anything back then.
Yeah.
No, that wasn't. Yeah.
No, so yeah, it was a different world. It really was. And then you were cool if you deflated your bike pump helmet so basically you had a shell on your head most of the time. So because they hurt, they weren't like comfortable like yours were. They really they hurt.
Yeah,
They did. The equipment was not right
the
back
helmet
then.
technology.
Oh, it's so great. And I think that's something important for anybody who's listening to this. I think even Rainham Giants, they're spending $300, $400, $500 a helmet now to put on these kids. That there's a lot different. And then you see in the pros where they're putting the bubbles on top of the helmet
Guardian
now to
caps,
practice, the Guardian caps. I think that's amazing for what's actually happened to the sport and what they've actually done. But it's taken a lot of us,
Right.
a lot of the old school guys to kind of show the long-term effects of some of it for that to happen. But, I don't know, like, if you guys have anything on your mind for football, anything that you want to express or share. That's, I don't want to be the only one to have to ask questions, because honestly, this is a round table. Is there anything that's,
I have a question for you.
yeah.
I want you to go through what your biggest memory of each one of our football careers is.
I have to say this one first.
Okay.
I have to go here. Blake. Blake, you were considered like the old man. That's what even the kids would say that. The kids would all be down at the fence at the football game or in Red Nation, and you'd be standing up with Jamie Goodrich, Tim Reed, and Mike Gallagher.
That's true.
And we'd all be like, yeah, there's old man, Blake. That's what he is. It took a lot to get you mad when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Dennis Yarmouth. We're in Dennis Yarmouth. And I'm doing pictures. I'm the president. I'm on the sideline. You're the head coach. And you coming off, Mike's pulling you off the field. You got a flag for something. You get up and push the kid. And I'm like, okay, so you're mad. You come over and he's standing on the sideline, hands on his hips like this. And I walk over, I'm like, hey, and you're like, go sit down. You're yelling, go sit down. You ain't going until you get your head straight, get a flag like that, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I walk up like 2 minutes later. I'm like, Blake, what's up? You're like, yeah, that kid on the bottom of the pile punched me in the balls. I was like, and you're mad about that, I assume.
You're upset.
And Blake, no, you look at me, I go, Mike, he's good to go.
Yeah.
I go, he's good to go. He's fine. There's no injury. He's fine. No problem. Swear to God, he was the fullback, I'm pretty sure.
And was the tailback?
This kid that hit him was the fullback.
Oh, okay.
The tailback gets the ball. He doesn't even look at the tailback. And I felt like I sent out an assassin. No, this isn't. It's kind of not funny because the ambulance was on the grass.
Oh, I actually do remember that now.
I don't.
Yep.
Honestly, I remember that story about
That's the truth.
getting hit in the family jewels, but I don't remember what happened after
And that's the last time that kid
That's-
punched anyone in the balls.
That's the truth, though. That he lit the kid up, and the kid didn't get up.
Well,
And to only second that story was almost the same thing happened in Rockland. You were having an issue with a kid at Rockland. We were at the goal line, and you trucked him, and the ambulance came out on the field, and I was like, "This is the only. Don't get Blake like Don't get Blake mad.
Rockland was tough kids too.
Yeah, Rockland was
Rockland was tough.
really
That was-
tough. Yeah.
Well, one thing that came out of that was, when he started to play for the Massachusetts All-Stars, and then they would travel around, his coaches would call that getting blaked. Oh, that kid got blaked.
You became a verb.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Brandon, I do remember this. You played a lot of offense. I remember that, but you're a cornerback. I can't remember what game it was. And I remember two things about it. You intercepted the ball, but then you trucked the kid who tried to tackle you next. You were on a sideline.
No avoidance.
And it was just a total Brandon, just running full speed.
Yeah.
Didn't even try to go. I don't think you tried to go around this kid because he wasn't big, and you trucked him. I remember that happening, but then Jim Brow, so excited, he threw his hat up in the air, was running halfway across the field to like high five you as you're coming off the field. And then he's like, now get out there, run it back, and run the kid over again. It's like everybody's going wild. And I'm like, that was about what summed it up. Because you guys know, I didn't love coaching my kids. It's just not something. It's not something I like to do, and I'm going to get to that for you in a second. But I didn't like doing it, so that's why I was the president. That's why I had a camera. You know what I mean? Because I didn't like being in the stands either.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody bitches and moans, and oh my god, Dan Bjorn, run right, run left. I know, but Dan's the coach, so it is what it is. If he's the coach and he puts the time in, then he gets to call the plays. And you know what? I didn't like him either sometimes, but I hated just. That was my own opinion. So I was usually close to the action.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? With a camera. Even in high school when you were playing, I was right there next to you guys. I'd be standing right next to Dan listening to the call like I had a camera, and I'd just go down the other end. Never say anything, but at least I knew what play was running, where I could go with the camera. And I told Dan, if I'm standing next to you, it's because I want to kind of maybe, take a picture of where the ball's going to go. You know what I mean? He laughed, so we had a good relationship in that respect. But that's what I, enjoyed about watching you play. I can remember many runs of yours. Like, oh no. Like there were certain times you just wouldn't cut. And I'm like, I could tell when, eventually I could just tell when it was like, you're not avoiding this, especially if somebody was your size and they were coming up to tackle you, you're like, I think I'm just going to truck this kid instead of going around. But
when I was, growing up, running the ball, my dad's big thing was, finish your run. If I ever ran out of bounds, I don't know if I would have ever seen the ball again and avoided a hit. And, fatal flaw, if I had just ran out of bounds on that third carry of 2015, the world would look a little bit different. But I finished my run.
True. You do live and learn in that regard too.
100%.
And honestly, with you, Bryce, I remember as a kid, you were kind of gangly and you would always arm tackle. But then, honestly, like I enjoyed your career watching it on TV. You were must-watch TV for Mary Beth and me. Like we watched all the games. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But when you had an interception, it was almost like you caught it, but then almost had to one-hand it and pull it back in at Northwestern, and then you went up like 10 or 15 more yards and you got tackled. We lost our shit. we were running around, you know what I mean? Like we were just having so much fun. I wish you could have seen us and how happy we were. Like, because you're doing it and you're in a big environment, people clapping for you, but the people who loved you were just as excited, even if we weren't at the games, if you know what I mean. So that's kind of what I remember about you in that regard. It was because I remember you guys as young. Right. So watching the young players wasn't as fun as watching the older players. It never is for me. That's why I coach high school sports and can't coach eighth grade. You know what I mean? So I didn't get to see your eighth grade year as much as, even though I was probably still the president at that time, I didn't get to all the games or something at that time. So, but that's what I remember about that as well too. So when we were talking about parenting, going back to kind of, hey coach, why are we doing this? And like I said before, this is about coaches. It is tough with kids, right? I can remember some duels between these two pig-headed people. How do you do that? How do you control that? I love what I hear about instilling toughness and grit. Where's the balance? Where's the blah, blah, blah? You know what I mean? What is your perspective on coaching your kids?
It's tough. and every kid's different, right? Like, you have kids and they're all, for the most part, I think they're all wired differently. Like
100%.
Like this one and me are wired very similar. So we butted heads and he was the oldest. So he took the brunt of my learning curve. And I coached him one way and I coached the other 99% of the kids a different way, right? It was, listen, you're the coach's kid. There's more that's going to be expected out of you. If you're going to play, you're going to earn it. And I don't want people saying, well, he's only playing because he's the coach's kid. So in that aspect, he had a tough time.
Yeah, he was. You know what though? Fairness to you. If you, Brandon, you weren't go switch that slide up. Find the one of Blake. One more. So where there's a picture of you holding a trophy, but that's not the one I was looking for. Your 8th grade year.
Yes.
Your 6th grade year.
Mm-hmm.
You won the BR Classic Most Valuable Player.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that?
And he did.
You were what, 7? Oh, wait, hold on.
No, 8th grade.
8th grade.
He was 6th grade.
He was
6th
a
grade. I'm sorry,
sixth
6th
grader.
grade. You were a
Yep.
6th grader, but you won the 8th grade Most Valuable Trophy. So in some degree, it was easier coaching you. Like from the sideline, anybody could have coached you. You know what I mean? Like you were but you had to be the best player. Like you couldn't just be in second place if he's going to be your coach. I get that. You know what I mean? So that's part of where that probably comes from, like, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I was the same way. Gavin was a little kid. He was little. I mean, he's taller than all of y'all now, right?
Yeah.
But remember back in the day, he was soaking wet 85 pounds. And you called him Missile because I would just teach him how to freaking
Right.
chop block
Yep.
everybody when we were going at it, which leads me to one more story. Oh, you want to remember this is my most memorable story of Giants football. Mite's year. For whatever, tackling, run, tackle, I don't know what the drills are called. Somehow he gets lined up with Gavin. And Gavin just submarined him like perfect. Just cut him so perfect. So perfect it looked like it was bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got so hot. You were like, you can't do that, in practice. You have to. I walked up to him like, are you effing kidding me? He's going to chop him every single. And I'm like, Gavin, you chop him. If he's dumb enough to put him against you in practice, you chop him every time. Yeah. You cannot come home with your head handed to you. You can't get blaked on the field like that. That's the one memory I had of where I didn't agree with your coach. It's probably the only time I was hot about your coaching. I was just like, no way. He did it perfect. You know what I mean? Like, you had to survive. That's all you had to do in that situation. But thinking about that, though, coaching, did you coach Bryce as much?
I didn't get a chance to coach Bryce until he got up onto the midgets, right?
Yeah, my 7th and 8th grade year. You were, but that time you were just like an assistant coach.
Yeah, I was only
because these guys were playing in high school.
Yeah, so I wasn't the head coach, but I wanted to coach him for a couple of years before he finished up. So,
So Bryce, who was your favorite coach? Like youth sports?
Youth sports. That's a tough one.
I don't care. Basketball. Yeah, man, this is what this is. Hey, coach. So give the shout out.
Tough one.
Wow.
Oh, I got it. It would be Louis Pacheco.
Yeah.
So my 7th grade year, I was like that jocks camp. He came up to me and my dad and he was going to be coaching on the midgets that year. He's like, I think we're going to play Bryce at running back. So he was kind of the first one that got me out of the center position and let me play running back my 7th grade year. And I had a decent year, but then my 8th grade year when he was calling the plays, and that was kind of like my coming out season. And we got to go down to Daytona that year. And just had a great year overall with him being the running backs and kind of offensive coordinator coach that year. And so yeah, I would definitely say that was the most memorable season and coach I can think of.
Brandon, father aside?
Obviously, my dad would be 100%.
I would hope it was.
And just circling back to, like you said about coaching your kids, I think the main thing was the expectations were set every single day. Monday practices were just as important as the games on Saturday. Yeah. And it had to be that every single day. Like every drill, every scrimmage, every run. And, when you set that expectation and are consistent on it, it's, when we did, there's, I wanted to walk home from probably 3 practices a week.
Gavin did
And-
walk home from some.
Crying in the truck coming home,
Oh, yeah. It's all part of it.
100%. But then
It's
you
all part
look
of it.
back on it as, a man, and you realize those expectations that are set at 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, that you carry those through your whole life. I mean, for everyone
And
listening, I work for my dad.
Brandon,
And-
listen, we're driving down Locust Street. You know how long Locust Street is?
Yeah, of course.
It's got to be 3 or 4 miles long. I'm halfway down, and I got Griffin in the car and Noah from practice, and Gavin's just giving me a freaking hard time. I dropped them off halfway down Locust Street. They're in a sidewalk. I said,
Get out.
see you later.
Yep.
Get out. I'm like, you're old enough to cuss me out? Then I guess you're old enough to be a man. Get out of the truck and, No, Griffin's
back.
almost in tears. Like,
We
'cause
lost Gavin.
I'm like, we lost him. Just left him there. Get home. Mary Beth's like, you didn't leave him on Locust. I said, yeah, I did. She's like in the car to go get him. Go
Yep.
back. Like, so yeah, it's going to happen. But
And
100%.
to kind of touch on what Brandon was just talking about, that was the first couple of years, right? So, and I think Brandon just said it perfectly. Like he, some kids when they're young, like Brandon, he needed to learn that, okay, like practice the 4 days before the game is just as important. And, he was very talented at a young age. So he, the effort and the intensity wasn't there in practice. But then, when the lights come on Sunday, he's, looks like a completely different. I say to my wife, I'm like, I can't get through to him. I'm like, he looks, he looks
they're
like,
so young though. Sometimes
Yeah,
like we forgot how,
right.
And as I gotten older, I always look at it like, if you're, however old they are is how many minutes you have to teach them.
Yeah.
If they're 9, you got 9 minutes to put in place.
Yeah.
If they're 10, you get 10 minutes. And
It's
if
a
they're
great rule.
18, you get 18 minutes. And I've learned all the coaching, how much coaching I've done. That's my philosophy now. If I got 6-year-olds, you want to put in a play, you got six, you got 6 minutes.
Yeah,
That's a
good.
great
That'd
rule.
be a good rule.
You know,
Yeah,
and
rule, yeah.
if you got a coach that's going beyond that, then, but it does depend on the kids and the
Yeah.
teams. You get special teams like that. And that Mites team we had was ridiculous. You could put in a shotgun offense for them, but it typically doesn't go that way. And as they get older, they figure their shit out themselves, so to speak. Back to the question though. The original question was, who is your favorite non-Mike Gallagher coach in your youth sports?
In youth, or
Yeah.
in
Or you can give me
high
any.
school
You
too?
can give me any coach. Yeah, give me any coach because that's what it is.
honestly, my high school coach, Dan Buren.
I love him.
And he was hard on me. Just it was no different going from my dad in 8th grade to high school and Dan Buren. He was hard on me, and we practiced hard and we did hard things. But again, I think that kids need that. Kids need to know that everything's not sunshine and rainbows. And I'd have 2 touchdowns in a game, and we'd go and film on Monday, and I'd have a bad run. And
Dan
he would
Buren.
say, why didn't you do this? He's, just like Bill Belichick. Like when you do a good job, you're just doing your job. You're not
Dan
doing a
Buren
good
is
job.
honest, and he has a big heart, and he has a big mouth.
Yes,
And I think he knows all 3 of those things. He doesn't
definitely.
let you know he has a big heart. I don't think that side comes out, but I think if you're on his team, so to speak, he's your guy.
Definitely.
But he also has a big mouth. He's going to
Yeah,
let you know.
Tough love.
It is what it is. He don't care who you are, so that gets him in trouble sometimes too.
Yeah.
I think he had no problem. I'm stepping out from this whole BR thing
Yeah.
at this time in my life. Back to you, Bryce. Who's your favorite coach of all time? Like,
Well, he just said Louis.
no, I know, but that's
Oh,
youth.
all time?
All time. I'm just going to go back quick. Yeah, go
There
ahead
it
now.
is.
All right.
Who's your favorite coach of all time?
I think Blake would agree with me here too. Our linebacker coach at Northwestern, Tim McGargle, he played at an extremely high level. At one point, he was the NCAA leader in career tackles. And kind of talk about like that intensity that you guys were just talking about. with
Talk
Dan
about
Buren.
intensity, dude.
Yeah, this
This
guy
guy was
would.
born
Do
to
you
coach
agree? Do you agree with what
linebackers.
he's saying?
That's what I was gonna say.
So hey, go ahead. You can comment a little bit there too. Go ahead.
No, I mean talk about like I just said, a guy who was born to coach Big Ten college linebackers. It was him. I mean, from the point of just like he's gonna tell it how it is. He's not gonna sugarcoat anything. This is the reality. You want to get to where these guys are. This is how you got to get there, and like you're not there right now. And just same thing we've been talking about, man. It seems to be the theme of this podcast. But from a grit toughness. You're gonna be smart. You're gonna be physical. You're gonna play fast. You're gonna play as a unit. I mean, and as linebackers in college, you said you guys are the heartbeat of the defense, and that's how you need to carry yourselves. And just talk about, like Bryce was just saying, I'm pretty sure he might still be, Bryce, the all-time
Yeah,
leading
he only
tackler
got beat up by that kid that
in
did
FBS.
6 years.
Yeah, that don't count. We're not counting that.
Yeah.
6 years. Oh yeah, that's the COVID people.
Over 500 career. too.
Wow.
Yeah, 545
545.
career college.
Insane.
And talking about like he's been there, done that, and did it at an extremely high level, and had like the pedigree of coaching great linebackers.
Yeah, you know what's good about this room? You all been there and done that.
So-
Congratulations to you all in that regard too. Yeah. So in regards to coaches, Mike, how about you?
In high school,
I'll, if you ask me my favorite coach, I have two. That's it. It comes to my
Yeah.
top of my head.
Well, I mean,
Done.
the first name,
Yeah.
hands down, is Dave Creighton.
Okay.
He was my running backs coach
At UNH?
No, and
At BR?
at BR.
Dave Creighton. I
Yep.
don't know that name. I usually knew all the coaches over there.
Yep, he was a freshman basketball coach, and was someone who believed in me like early in my high school career and kind of looked out for me. And then, college. I was a running back at UNH, not a tailback, but like a fullback / H-back. So that's the lowest position on the totem pole at that level, at the FCS level. So I had a different running backs coach.
All the time. Yeah,
every
yeah,
year.
yeah.
But the person, a guy named Gary Croton, who left, he was the offensive coordinator. Then he went to Boston College. Then he spent a bunch of time in the NFL. And he was like, okay, you're not just going to bang heads, but, we're going to split you out. We're going to get you lined up on linebackers and throw the ball to you. And so he was another one that kind of, I think took me to the next level.
Yep.
And then, my last year, my running backs coach was Chip Kelly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. Still friendly with him today.
Oh, cool.
See him once a year at the UNH golf tournament.
He goes up there every year.
Oh, yeah. Every year
Wow.
he comes back. Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty
So-
cool. Well, that's a little name drop right there.
Right.
I like
yeah.
that.
Just drop that in there.
UNH has a lot of Ryan Day was a former UNH
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Chip Kelly.
Yeah.
I think there's been a handful of others.
Everyone came from Sean McDonald, the legend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah. Another
Um,
fun fact. So Sean McDonald, who coached Brandon, my last 3 years was on the staff at UNH. So I had him as a coach, and then Brandon had
Really?
had him as a coach.
Wow, that's freaking cool.
Yeah.
And he must have been like, I feel old with him showing
Oh, I
up.
know.
And
Yeah,
we
definitely.
weren't the only people. He probably had at least 20 players, I would say.
And I'm not saying that like he's old. I'm just saying though,
no,
when
no.
you
He
when you
probably-
coach
I had
someone
him
and
at
you
the
see
beginning.
their son, yeah,
and then
yeah.
Brandon had
That's
him
awesome.
at the end. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah.
that was cool.
That's just the funny thing about coaches, right? Like if you ask me my favorite coaches, the same three names pop up all the time.
Who?
My Pee-wee's hockey coach, Tommy Halpin. I must have been 8, 9 years old.
Tom Halpin.
But like he just said, "You're the best player. Be the best player all the time." He just said it all the time, and he just believed it. You know what I mean? We were a really good team, and then we were young.
Yeah.
My high school football coach, my senior year, Tom Lane. He was the ball of energy, man. The energy he brought every day, we couldn't match his energy.
Yeah.
And that was something impressive about him. He was just awesome at constantly bringing the end. And that's what I do. That's what I pride myself in. I kind of, taking on that role, like with BR basketball. Doug Alves is so smart and plays and so much coaching experience. I love it. But if the practice looks soft, I tell them they're soft.
Get the juice
out.
We're running. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be some football mentality to our team,
Mhm.
taking charges and all that other kind of stuff. And then the third one was my defensive back coach, and he was my third episode. Tom Borman, should listen to
Oh,
him. Yeah, 30 years of experience. Coached, he was a head coach for 6 years. Was the first one to win the conference in Division II when they went from 3 to 2.
Yep.
He's had a lot of experience too. But yeah, coaches are great things, man. So I usually try to keep these things like. We've been doing this. That's why that clock's right there. If you didn't notice, it faces me. We probably started at 7:30, like an hour and a half. I don't want to torch everybody with what we know.
Yeah.
But in the same breath, is there anything else you guys got, on your mind? Somebody want to shout out to? Anything else that's out there that's... Oh, I have one thing I want to ask you about. Gentleman I play golf with, his name's Les. What a wonderful man. He's got to be in his 70s. He had a kid that played with you that passed away at BR.
Lester McKinney. Yeah.
McKinney. What was he like? That kid.
Kevin?
I don't know him. The son. What's the son? Lester is Les, obviously,
Yeah.
the dad.
Yeah.
Kevin's the son, right? What was he like?
So Kevin and I were best friends from the time we were probably 6 years old. Grew up 2 doors down from one another. Played youth sports together.
He played football with you at BR?
He didn't play football at BR. He played for the Giants. His
Yeah.
number's retired, number 32. That's
That's the
for
number.
Kevin
I did not
McKinney.
know that. I
Yep.
did not know that.
Uh,
They have another place. Was he baseball or something? That
baseball. Yeah, the field.
One of the fields over there.
is named
Phillip.
after him.
Yep.
You were the
Yeah.
first person to hit a home run on that field. Shout out that.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
True
day that
story.
it opened, right?
Yes.
Opening
well,
day. Yeah.
So they were building the field. Unfortunately, when Kevin passed away from a car accident, our senior year, coming home from basketball practice, definitely the worst day of my life. I'll say that. You're supposed to lose your parents, and I can remember that.
Let me tell you, Les thinks the world of you. Like I told him I do a podcast, and I told him we're going to have, we've been trying to get this together, Brandon, for a month? Well, I told him the first week, and he's been like, when it didn't air, when's it going to air? And you know what? He's a great guy. He's a good golfer for his age too.
Yeah, he is.
He can get
He is.
after it.
I keep every time I see him, I say we got to get out and golf.
Yeah.
But,
We'll make it a point. I'll go with you. We'll do it.
Yeah.
I joined Segi.
oh, did you?
We'll do a home and away tournament.
Yeah,
How's
yeah,
that?
definitely.
We'll do something like that. But
Yeah.
no, I forgot about that, and I wanted to mention it because I didn't know the
Yeah.
kid at all, and he said that you guys were friends. So I
Yeah,
figured
we were
it's
best.
good to bring up the memory, though, right?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Any memory of him is just not the passing away part, but
So
anything.
his nickname was Smooth.
Hmm.
Yeah, he was just
That's a good one.
He was awesome.
Smooth.
He was a great baseball player, great
Yeah.
pitcher, real good athlete. Good basketball player.
Yeah. Well, shout out to him, man. Life's too short sometimes to appreciate everything you got.
Yep.
Mike, this all stems from you and Tina, and the best athlete's not in the room. We know that.
Yeah.
Give her a shout out. It's
Yeah.
not fair.
Yeah,
Y'all
Brookie.
better
Shout out
give a
Brookie.
shout out to
Brookie.
Brooke,
Yeah.
Mary's favorite Gallagher.
Yeah.
She's the toughest.
You're right there too. Don't
yeah.
get me wrong, Bryce, but
Yeah.
that's definitely Mary's favorite Gallagher. She is quite an athlete. Oh my goodness, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. No, she, and we were having this conversation, last weekend, I think, just talking about how she had all the potential in the world. I think, being the youngest and the sister of these three, I think she felt that if she didn't live up to their standards, then she would be considered a failure, and people would say, well, what happened with you? And there's no doubt in my mind, if she put her mind to something and practiced and did, she would have.
Yeah, she could have.
She could have.
Oh my God, yeah.
She could have played field hockey. She
Yeah.
could have played basketball.
Does she play golf?
She wants to. No,
You
but I'm
should-
sure
she
she's
should.
probably.
She would be able to
Yeah,
play
she'd
real
be good.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's good. You got a great family,
Oh,
brother.
thank you.
You really do.
Thank you.
You boys,
We're
man.
fortunate.
You guys are, you make us proud here. And well, now that I'm in Taunton again, I am a Tauntonian, but
Full
the
circle.
first football family of Rainham for sure. It's you guys should be proud of that, man. It's something that, what, we all look up to you guys in that regard. I think you're the best youth coach my kids had. That you ask who's the best coach, that comes to the top of my mind. So that's like,
we had a lot of good guys that helped.
yeah, but Mike, they still needed to be tough. They still needed to be accountable. They still needed to all. There was so many kids that could have went sideways,
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about our kids. I'm talking about all the other kids that were really great athletes. Because Andrew Noviello is one of the best athletes to come out of BR. But he was like a crazed animal when he was a young kid. They all were.
Yeah.
I mean, they all were. They all needed somebody that they at least respected and would march in the same order to. And you were able to do that for all these young men. So
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I will touch on one thing, talking about like in town, and you know, when all three of these guys went off and played college, the support from all the people in town was really overwhelming, to be honest. You know, to just follow along and you know, the comments and the texts, and every time, you know, any of them did anything. And
listen, Tina's the best. You know what I mean? She keeps you guys all in line. She's a wonderful lady. Mike, you're a great dad and a coach. And I think that's where that all stems from. I think it stems from you two, where the support came from. Yes, they're great kids and they all had friends and the friends like that. But when you get a community behind you, it's just because of the family and the structure and the way that you guys are and around town.
I think it's
and but you have been around Rainham your whole life.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not from Rainham, you know what I mean? So like, I was in your world. If you're in Taunton, it'd been different. You know what I mean? I'd have to show you around the Ware and Oakland and all the other different parts here. But it was a different story, and I was there. And honestly, I got involved. I went to you. I said, hey, I want to, you know, be involved with the Giants. And you're like, just come to the first meeting. Yeah, well, then I watched Joe Arruda and Ted argue, almost getting a fight. But that's what it ended up being. So we're going to wrap this up. I appreciate you guys. This is what it's about. You know, don't be surprised if I invite, you know, you guys all or some back at some other point, because we're going to do some other fun stuff with this too. But I really appreciate you guys coming in. Bryce, I know it's a different area code for you out there in Chicago, but thanks for joining us as well too. And hey, we'll see what happens. This is Darius, episode 6. Good luck. We're moving on to 7 at some point. We don't even know what 7 is. Usually I know what the next one is.
Well, that's because we've been delayed a month from
that's your fault.
Scheduling process.
I'm calling you. Until he was joined in on the text, nothing got done. So I'm just again had to go back.
Him, it was this guy.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, but it's good seeing all you guys. And hey, man, thanks for coming on. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Hey,
Thank you.
Thank you.